Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rafa Leduc Page Guy channel. It is I, Mr. Leduc, back here once again for a video. And today we will be discussing the one and only Ronda Rousey, as she's found herself back in the news cycle when it comes to wrestling, as this all started with an appearance of her on Wild Ride with Steve-O, who I think Steve was one of the dudes from Jackass, I guess. I don't know. And she discussed why she left the WWE, and she revealed a few things about how she felt about being in WWE. Um, so she mentioned she mentioned how she loved WWE, but she was away from home too much, which is normal to feel homesick when you're gone on the road so much. But she mentions that I love the WWE. I had such a great time. I love all the girls in the locker room. Hell yeah, running out there having fake fights for fun is just the best thing. I love choreography. I love acting. I love theater. It's live theater. Some of the last forms of live theater, and it's so fun. But I was doing it basically part time, and I was away from home over 200 days of the year. And when I did get home, basically I was so sleep deprived because you just don't have time to lay down. So this is another thing. Is again, she mentions how wrestling is fake. It's all choreographed, which we know wrestling is choreographed, but there's still a certain degree of risk to it. You can't just go up and say wrestling's fake when someone gets injured. It's all fake. You know, it's sports entertainment. It's sort of its own thing. Here comes to the part that is what's been out of the media a lot, and it's been discussed a bit. All right. On how the WWE fans were ungrateful, they didn't appreciate her. We didn't need the money, so just like, what am I doing it for if I'm not being able to spend my time and my energy on my family? But to spending my time and energy on a bunch of fucking ungrateful fans that don't even appreciate me. And the thing is, I love performing and I love the girls. I love being out there. But at the end of the day, I was just like, fuck these fans, dude. My family loves me and they appreciate me, and I want my energy to go into them. So that was my decision. At the end of the day, it was like, hey, girls, love what you're doing. I'm going to try and take all my momentum and push you guys as far as I can. Fly, little birds, fly. I'm going fucking home. And that was basically it. So, now again, in this part, she mentions about she feels the fans were ungrateful and blah, blah, blah. And even when she did come in, there was always going to be some sort of thing where she was always, she was always going to be sort of split, because Ronda already had a lot of baggage following her from her MMA days, her UFC days, and going into WWE. There was always going to be a sort of thing where there was always going to be some people who felt that Ronda didn't belong there. Ronda shouldn't have been there. Ronda was this. Ronda was that. And even though she had good in-ring performances and she was good on the mic, Ronda was always someone that had a lot of natural charisma. It was still something that was going to be that was just her presence made a lot of people split. And I know I was one of the few ones when she came in, I was sort of against it. Then she came in, I was positive on it. But I was worried that fans were going to turn on her on some point, because I figured that WWE was going to do what they did. Have her do the Mania match and push her ass to the fucking moon, and she was going to end up with the belt within a few months, which she did. She ended up with the belt at SummerSlam. And she just sort of ran roughshod on the division. And I think their plan was always going to be have Ronda be built, have Ronda be this baby face, then have Charlotte be heel, and do Ronda versus Charlotte. That was always going to be the plan. Reports of that came out way earlier about how that was going to be the plan for her time in WWE. So the last part of this is all coming from 411 Mania on the internet. They have an article where they give the highlights of her appearance on the podcast. On if she would ever return to WWE. If I ever do come back, the thing just scrolled down on its own. If I ever do come back, it will never be at a full-time capacity ever again. I think for stints, chunks of time. I'm very much an obsessive person where I like to obsess over something for a certain time, and then take some time to obsess over something else. But no, I'm never going to be full-time again, over 200 days a year on the road. I needed to do it in order to learn and get immersed into it and really understand what was going on, but it's just not the lifestyle for me. So, it was obvious that, this lifestyle is not meant for a lot of people. Some people get used to it, some people don't. Ronda was one of the person that didn't get used to it. I will mention this thing where she mentions at the first chunk of her, what she discussed on the podcast, how she felt she was part time and then she felt she was full time. So it doesn't really make sense. And she was part time. They tried their best to make Booker as sort of a part time wrestler. I mean, they had that chunk where she was suspended for attacking Alexa, which basically was just, we understand you're tired of working for now. We're gonna send you home for a bit, then we'll have you come back. But props to her, when she was champion, she was there. She worked the B pay per view, she worked the Raws, she worked some house shows too. So props to her. So this thing sort of came out, and it got a lot of people talking about, you know, what did the fans really do wrong on her? And we didn't really do anything wrong. It's just fans' perceptions changed. I mean, not even a year ago, people were talking about how awesome Rollins is, and then a few months later, sucks, Rollins isn't cool, Rollins blah 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 because of what happened with the feed. Fans are fickle. This is something that is truth, and I will put myself in that list as well. I can be fickle. I am well aware of this. But, to really just go out after these fans, a lot of people remembered and made the comparison to back when she first wanted to leave UFC, about how she felt the MMA fans turned on her, and a lot of them did. But a lot of people turned on her, and she said it was due to a lot of people turned on her because of her attitude. And I'll admit, Ronda is a special character, is a special person in general. She has her own attitude, which is okay. So Ronda posted this a few hours ago on her social media. She posted a sort of picture with a statement with the hashtag kayfabe killer. Ronda has responded. So she wrote, "Anyone who is outraged by me calling pro wrestling fake fights for fun has never been in a real fight. While you're all tiptoeing around bruising some pro wrestlers' huge soft egos, no one is thinking about all the real fighters you're insulting when you're pretending pro wrestling is somehow on the same level of realism. Yes, I understand wrestling 300 days a year for years on and is incredibly tough on the body and a difficult profession, but do you know what would happen if you got 300 real fights in a year? You would be dead." Good point. I think this is just her completely missing the point. She calls wrestling fake, yes, but then to me, this thing that people want to compare wrestling to real fighting, if there is that degree of people that are stupid enough to do that, they are fucking idiots. Wrestling and fighting, boxing, MMA, judo, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever the hell, it's not related. In boxing, you take real punches, and the person in the ring is trying to knock you the fuck out or choke you unconscious, break your arm, break a limb, whatever. Wrestling, you're there to tell a story. Yes, you're gonna sometimes take punches that are maybe a little bit hard and stuff like that. Wrestling has intricate thing. While fighting is basically just, I'm here to beat the shit out of you because that's how I'm gonna get paid. So Ronda always trying to compare the two. I get where Ronda comes from, and that could be what she's basing her opinion off of. Is she did UFC. She knows what fighting is like. And WWE does try to put their matches into saying that they're fights sometimes. Like Michael will say, "Oh, this is a fight between two rivals" or whatever. But the thing is that wrestling is like watching a TV show. It's like watching a movie. Yes, it's choreographed, but there's still some risk to it. When people film movies, stuntman, they get injured. Some of them even die during doing movies. It's a risk that they take in their profession. Same thing goes to wrestling. It's like doing stunts. You're gonna get hurt. It happens. And I think the thing is that, like Alexa Bliss, Lana, Nia Jax came out, which is ironic because they're the three biggest of the ones that always try to start shit on social media. Like, those three are the biggest trolls on social media in WWE. And, they got upset, again, that's calling it fake. Again, I think Ronda understands there's a risk into it, but Ronda thinks that because she knows what real fighting is, she can speak on that. I think the only other people that can talk about doing wrestling and fighting together is people like Shayna Baszler, Brock Lesnar, and Cain Velasquez. People like that. Daniel Bryan, he's done a little bit of MMA. I think Jack Gallagher was actually a amateur fighter. Stuff like that. There's people that can speak from experience, and Ronda, she has that right to compare. But I don't know what she seems to be doing, really going against, like going after wrestling, calling it fake a lot and stuff like that. Maybe just how she feels. As for the fans' comment, like I mentioned, fans are always going to be fickle, but Ronda's always going to be this special case that there was going to be a following of fans that were going to follow her, enjoy her from her UFC days. Simon's is a fan of hers. Simon, likes Ronda Rousey, and he liked her in wrestling. He did critique where WWE went with her, but he was still a Ronda fan. You're going to have the ones that became Ronda fans with wrestling. I was a Ronda fan. I own pieces of Ronda Rousey merch. I own a WWE t-shirt. Hell, I own a UFC Reebok jersey of her that I purchased. And I own her book in French. So I respect Ronda Rousey as a mixed martial artist, and I respect her for taking this far into wrestling and going into it. Not just doing it a few days. A little bit like how Rob Gronkowski is probably going to be doing it now. So props to her. But what she's doing now, I don't know if she's trying to burn the last bridge she has with wrestling. She's like, fuck that shit. I'm just going to stay home. And Ronda Rousey got so much money, she can stay home on her fucking sofa playing video games on Twitch for all she wants. She still has acting that she still gets some gigs stuff, but it's just an interesting that Ronda came again back into the limelight and into an aspect that could be very negative for a lot of people. But I'm trying to stay as unbiased as I can. I'm not trying to go either behind WWE or go behind Ronda and defend Ronda. Ronda has a point, but if she's expressing it the right way, she's always been someone that she speaks, but sometimes she puts her foot in her mouth. So it's something. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to leave your likes and your comments down below. What are your thoughts on this whole Ronda Rousey situation, on her somewhat burning the bridge to wrestling? Again, back in the news. She finds herself a way to be in the news, and a lot of people figured maybe it was going to be about her coming back, but I think that bridge might have been burned these last few days. So make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a very good day. Have yourselves a very good Easter, people. Take care. Stay safe.